focused. By the way, as long as we're just here waiting, John Rexwinkle has been called to Arizona.
In an emergency?
And he informed me that if you could speak into your mics just a little bit better, he could hear. I don't know if his hearing aid went broke or what. At any rate, John, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
John, this is an official meeting, so you're not sitting there with a toddy, right?
Correct.
Call the Mars City Council regular meeting to order Tuesday, January 19th, 4 o'clock. Could we have a roll call, Bev? Oh, excuse me, let's do the pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now, can we have a roll call, Bev?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Rexenko?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Witt?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Is there a second? Motion been made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, carried. General discussion. The way we handle our general discussion is if anybody, or first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody in the chamber here. And Dennis, welcome to you from Clem.
Well, you guys have the meeting at the right time now.
Yeah. That's the reason we changed it. But anyway, we want to welcome everybody, and particularly you people that are watching over television. I hope you all got informed that there was a change in the time, and the reason of it is because we are going to have our council meeting starting now, and then when the council meeting's over with, we're going to be going into our budget session right after the council meeting. So just want to keep everybody informed. General discussion, the way we handle our general discussion here is that we ask you to step up to the podium and state your name and address, and if you have any concerns or comments or good things to say about the city, why now is the time to visit about it. Does anybody have any comments on general discussion? If not, we'll move right along and go right into the thumbs up award. Clark?
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
Steve?
Nothing now.
Rex?
Pass, thank you.
Rex? John, do you have any thumbs up award?
No idea.
Okay. The only thing I want to just share with the public here is the fact that we've had several phone calls in regard to the plowing of our snow here in the city, and I just want to share with you that our public works people and our employees are working very, very hard to get these streets cleaned as soon as they can. There's some of them coming in at midnight, some of them 2 o'clock in the morning, so that the main lines are open. And I think I happened to read the article in the Lamar's Daily Sentinel. I think it was this last week that I thought that Scott Coucnil done an excellent job of sharing that with the public of how they do it and the procedures they take. We got 77 miles of streets to plow every time it snows, so it does take a little time, but I did want to communicate that with you. Moving on to the consent items, today we've got 4 of them. All items listed under consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. The first one is approval of the January 5th, 2016 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of the bills for the period ending 1/15/16. Number 3 is the monthly financial report for December 2015. And number 4 is the urban revitalization tax exemption requests. I'll ask any of the council members if they have any.
Can I ask the council to add one more address to number 4? I received one today.
The tax exemption?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we don't do it today, it could sit around for 4 months,
Okay.
so I'd just as soon get them done.
So instead of what do we have on there? How many? 3?
Well, there's 3, so there'll be 4.
You want to move that to 4?
Yeah, it'll be 1043 Turnberry Avenue.
Okay.
1043.
Council agree with that?
Yes. What was the value on that one, Jason?
260,000.
216?
260. 260.
See, somebody got a good buy.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 4 with a note on the addition
Change.
on number 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the items 1 through, or the consent items 1 through 4 with the additional of the one on Turnberry Avenue from 3 to 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. Under action items, a request for rezoning of the property. A request has been received to rezone property owned by Noram Cold Storage at 411 9th Avenue Southwest. Attached is an aerial map of the area along with a letter from Greg Grant, Noram Cold Storage, President and CEO, requesting the change. The request is to rezone the property from residential R1 to general business B2. The Planning and Zoning Commission heard the rezoning request at their January 12, 2016 special meeting, and the recommendation is to rezone the property to the general business district, which would be B2. Any questions or comments from anybody out there in the chamber? If not,
I was at the zoning board just to update the rest of the council.
Okay.
And even though it's the same issue to some extent, all we're doing at this time is rezoning that one R1 property to a B2, which is kind of what the council asked for at the last council meeting, so, and there was no opposition at the zoning meeting to it.
okay, thank you, Ken. Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved?
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and second, establishing February 2nd, 2016 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing regarding the rezoning 411 9th Avenue Southwest from residential R1 to general business B2. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on to the consent item number 2. It's Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC, partial property tax exemption at its December 15th, 2015 meeting. The council held a public hearing regarding a request by Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC for approval of a partial property tax exemption for its new storage building at their current site on Key Avenue. The council also approved a motion acknowledging the city's intent to consider by the ordinance a tax exemption for a new construction of Icon Ag Solutions at its January 19th, 2016 council meeting. Is there any questions on any of these?
Scott, especially for Steve, what are the ramifications? Kind of give us an idea of how that works, if you mind.
They had indicated that they were going to build a $400,000 building to the south of their main building. And the tax exemption, I think we passed it out at the meeting in December, which estimated on a 75, 60, 45, 30, 15% over a 5-year period. That is, those are the percentages of tax exemption. So taxes are paid on the difference between those numbers and 100%. So taxes are still paid, but you would be authorizing an exemption of those percentages from year 1 through year 5. And it would be based, Bill Cole did do a spreadsheet that showed you what the 75, 60, 45, 30 meant based on an estimate of $500,000. Whether it's 400,000 or $500,000, it doesn't matter what we think or what Icon thinks. It's what's picked up by the county assessor. is what counts. Since it's under Chapter 8 of the city code, is what you're debating here, because of that, it is a rebate, and it's not a full-fledged exemption, meaning they need to pay the taxes, show us a paid receipt each year, we cut them a check reimbursing the taxes that they paid. We only reimburse for the total taxes less any indebtedness by all the jurisdictions. So the county, the school, and the city's debt service is protected and is not exempted. So 100% of that is paid. What is exempted is everything else.
Is it-
Thank you.
Steve?
What is the difference between the rebate and just an outright? I'm kind of curious.
If it met the true definition of industrial property tax exemption, quote unquote, from the Iowa statute, then it couldn't be done through the Iowa statute. And the council has really very little say and very little control of it. It automatically goes up to the courthouse, and the county assessor and auditor and treasurer then automatically deducts that exemption from the tax bill.
Okay,
They never pay that tax,
right,
the exempted part.
right.
Now coincidentally, what you did in Chapter 8 is identical percentages as what's in the state statute, the 75, 60, 45, et cetera.
Okay.
They're identical percentages.
It just-
So the
it-
result is the same, the mechanism to carry it out is the only thing that's different.
Gives the city actually a little more
Leverage.
flexibility or authority.
Leverage if we needed it.
Yeah, right.
Well, it gives you a little, what the mayor said, a little more flexibility and
Flexibility.
authority under the matter, because you don't have to rigidly adhere by the definition of industrial property tax exemption. And so, Icon does not fall under an industrial property tax exemption. They don't fall. They're a retail outlet of farm equipment, but they are not a manufacturing. It'd be different if this was a John Deere factory making tractors.
But this isn't our first one.
Right.
Like this either. We've got
We've used a lot of,
3, 4 other ones out in
At least.
the Mars Industrial Tift area that are the same way. They
Yeah.
asked for it the same way. That's why we put it together in this format, so that we could, in essence, do the same thing. But realize that we don't have any taxes coming in now from the property that's not been built. The minute it gets built, I like to reverse what Scott says. We're picking up 25%, 40%
Absolutely.
every year.
I agree.
Because we weren't building it otherwise. And then if they're building it, by God, maybe they gotta have an employee to move stuff around in it and stuff like that. And that's just what we want to do, encourage that.
okay.
Motion approving the first reading of ordinance number 931, granting approval of a partial property tax exemption for the industrial property owned by Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second approving the first reading of the ordinance of number 931, granting approval of a partial property tax exemption for industrial property owned by Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC. Could we have a roll call on that, Ben?
Knapp,
Yes.
Rexlinko,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And since it's such a good day, we're gonna waive the second and third reading of ordinance 931, granting approval of partial property tax exemption for industrial property owned by Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC.
I got a question. Is there any reason to waive it?
Well, because
Saves
we're not
time.
gonna, we're gonna do it next meeting, so if it was something that was gonna be discussed, then I
That'd be right.
typically don't ever waive. But we're not gonna discuss it. We already discussed it back in December, so I just figured we'd get it done. But if you don't want to, that's fine.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and second, waiving the second and third readings of the ordinance 931, granting approval of partial property tax exemptions for industrial property owned by Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC. We have a roll call on that, Bev?
Rexwinkle,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yeah.
Knapp,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion approved on ordinance number 931,
Yes.
granting approval of partial property tax exemption for industrial property owned by Icon Ag Solution Real Estate LLC on its first reading.
Second the
Second.
motion.
Motion made and second, adopting ordinance number 931, granting approval of the partial property tax exemptions for industrial property owned by Icon Ag Solutions Real Estate LLC on its first reading. Can we have roll call on that, Bev?
Rexwinkle,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to number 3, National Electric Code 2014 edition. At its January 5th, 2016 meeting, the council held a public hearing and approved the first reading regarding the proposed changes to Chapter 155 Building and Construction Regulations, adopting the National Electric Code 2014 edition. Attached is the ordinance making the changes to Chapter 155. Staff is recommending making the changes as attached to Chapter 155, Building and Construction Regulations.
See, this one, I have no idea, Clark.
Right, and
I have no idea what we're even doing, because we're doing a 2014 edition in 2016.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go through this whole thing. We're gonna do it all 3 times, because eventually somebody may come up and say, what you doing? Because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, help me out, guys, help me out, Jason. Why are we doing 14 and 16? Why does it take us 2 years to catch up?
Because the state did it.
Well, they actually, you can blame me partially. I
Oh,
mean,
no,
we
I'm-
could have done
No,
it,
I'm not gonna, no.
we could have done it 9 months ago.
Okay.
You just got around to it,
Well,
didn't
the
you?
years, the code years, the 2014 edition typically doesn't come out until about a year
Okay.
after. So the state actually adopted it, the state of Iowa adopted it early in 2015.
Okay.
So we could have done it
And
back
I'm
then.
not saying we shouldn't do it, I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm
I'm
doing
typically
here.
on board with not waiving second readings
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
fine.
no new stop signs. So those are two things we're really good at.
For those reasons, right,
For
Clark?
those- But,
I've got here, on both sides.
We'll be coming to you with the 2015 fire code to adopt this year, because we're still using the 2009, because that's where the state's at. So when they come to town, we use the same code that the state fire marshal uses, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, but see, that
The reason
doesn't
they
make me
waived
feel
that
good.
is because of the cost of the books.
Yeah, I
I can tell you
understand.
that.
My 2 cents would be, this is kind of a no-brainer. We need to be in sync with the state,
Yeah,
and the state's at 2014.
okay.
It
Okay.
gets as simple as that. We should be
I
at
don't-
2014.
and we haven't had any electrician in here screaming, don't do it for this reason or that reason, you know?
Well, and then the state took the inspection of
our hands.
electrical out of our
Clear out of
hands.
our hands.
But it
And
is
they come out
licensed.
and do their inspection.
Right,
And
Right.
so, I mean, the state's doing it.
Right.
Under this code.
I just think it's a no-brainer.
I'm not
And we've carried it already an extra meeting. If somebody was concerned about it, they should be, already have screamed about it.
That's fine, I'm just telling you why I have a difference of opinion on the two.
And I would believe their screaming would be unfounded, because they're gonna, really all this is doing is just updating our code book to keep it current with what the state is
state
gonna
makes.
enforce
And
in.
what the guy that actually comes out and does the inspection is enforcing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's a
The guy that's doing
no-brainer
the
in my
inspection is
book.
already using this code even though we're not there.
Yep. Okay. I entertain a motion.
Motion approving the second reading of ordinance 930, chapter 155, building code construction regulations, adopting the National Electrical Code 2014 edition.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, approving the second reading of the ordinance number 930, Chapter 155, Building and Construction Regulations, adopting the National Electrical Code of 2014. Can we have a roll call on that, Bev?
Nelson.
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Rexwinkle,
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Motion waiving the third reading of ordinance number 930, chapter 155, building construction regulations, adopt the National Code, Electrical Code 2014 edition.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, waiving a third reading of the ordinance. Number 930, Chapter 155, Building and Construction Regulations, adopting the National Electric Code of 2014 edition. Can we have a roll call, Bev?
Nelson.
Yes.
Knapp.
Yep.
Rexwinkle.
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Motion adopting ordinance number 930, chapter 155, building and construction regulation, adopting the National Electrical Code 2014 edition on its second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, adopting ordinance number 930, Chapter 155, Building and Construction Regulations, adopting the National Electric Code 2014 edition on its second reading. Roll call, Bev?
Nelson.
Yes.
Knapp.
Yep.
Rexwinkle.
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Motion paid, or motion carried, and we cleaned that up after 2 years. Okay.
We had a nice little discussion.
Yeah, well, everybody knows.
About stop signs?
Okay, moving on to discussion. John, do you have anything?
Nothing today.
How about you, Clark?
No, sir.
Steve?
No.
Rex?
I'm good for a little bit.
Okay,
I'll pass, thank you.
all righty.
I saw
City Administrator.
I asked 2 weeks ago and for any review comments. Just a friendly reminder again. What we would hope to do is get any comments, any additions, any deletions by that first council meeting in February, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago. So just a reminder, please read it and give me some comments. Or, if it's good, it's good. With that, I'll turn it over to Gail to give his water annual report.
Gail?
And once again, on that housing thing, Scott, there's a couple copies at the library that the public can stop in and read and check out or
Good.
read there too, so.
Yeah, very good point. There's a hard copy at the library, and it is online, I believe, at Simcoe and online on our website.
So you got it all cleaned up since you were out there working? Earlier in the day, huh? Weren't you working a couple streets down from there?
Oh, just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. We do have lines that break in the winter, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah, that's next year's, that's on next year's list. Anyway, just like other departments in the city, there's been changes, in the water department. Some have worked while others have not so much. In 2012, we had 7 full-time personnel, and now we have 4. In the past, we had 5 operators that were rotating, for weekends work, and now we have 3. And this is called for, sacrifices taken on by, the personnel and stuff out there, more time away from their families and stuff. It's put more responsibility on the operators just to fill in for vacations, sick leave, and other personal needs, and other employees and other departments. I really am publicly thanking them, for what they have done, stepping up to the plate, in words and stuff, for the workload and the dedication they have put in through this transition. So I definitely want to thank them. I also want to thank all city staff, the street department, parks, police, fire, wastewater, for all they have done, and even more directly to Angie Knipe for all the work she's done and stuff, as she works through here in the office for the countless work orders she sends us to do and stuff anyway, but and all who help her, Ann Bunkers, Christy Kilker, Christy Collins, Katie Sitzman, and Bev Langle, and who I talk to many times and stuff just on issues at hand. Another thing is Jim Conley. I thank him for taking over locating for us. We still do some, but Jim does the upfront line for us. And since we had a locating service doing that for us, we weren't pleased with some of the work, so Jim has stepped up again and taking over that. Also want to thank Scott Bill, wherever you are, Jason, Mr. Mayor and the council. Want to thank the media for reporting requests that we do give them and stuff, from time to time. And without everybody I've mentioned, this report or this budget wouldn't get done. So I just want to thank everybody for that. So then getting mainly now just to the report. As I said, I have on there that you can read the years of service and stuff. Nick Dorr is actually just 3/4 of a year. He does have his grade 1, and today he took his test for his grade 1 distribution and has passed it. So now Nick does have both grade 1 on treatment and distribution as of today. Things are pretty much inconsistent. We've added, some miles of underground, a few more meters, 635 hydrants. We have added and got 3 pumps running and alteration on the new booster station. Then we also, do some of the locates and different activities as we have back in the past. Some other information of interest, just for total of the wells this year, in the report that we had just set down to, the state, 980 million gallons were pumped out of the ground. 30 million of that was used, approximately 70,000 gallons each time we do a backwash, which leads to build meter for this year was 908 million. And between keeping track of the hydrant meters, the flushing, the times that Dave gives us a call and estimates the times for firefighting and stuff, we have come within 2% of that, of the gallons and stuff that we, for being accounted for. And that would be just odd and end things that, either leaks that are out there, whatever. So with the metering system and stuff that we have installed, this is showing that we are accounting a lot more for the water that we are putting out there. The metering system is working very well and stuff. So just going back in through the work orders and stuff like that, the numbers and stuff from year to year are there. You get down like with Angie's stuff, she sends out disconnect notices, if you notice that, and it's down this year actually to 2,855. So if you figure it's at least 75 cents to get that out there between the mailings and everything, that's over $2,000 just for disconnect notice. By the time we get them, we're down to 312 after several times that she's been working with them. We've actually shut over 75 off this year, approximately 25 we couldn't either get off, so those list of fees that you did, Angie did bring that up, and I thank you for putting that on the fees now. I believe it's $10 for all of her work that she's doing there. At least it's a user fee for the people that are actually causing this extra work and stuff. So hopefully that will help maybe maintain to get some of these numbers down and stuff on that part of it and free up her time. As long as with the other ladies and stuff, do you ever walk into City Hall and they're awful busy in there keeping track of all these, records and things and stuff that, without having that problem, could be freed up for other things, so. We went going through, just some of the projects that were completed, 3,000 feet of 12-inch main, another 2,400 on 27th Street now is all in service. A lot of this year we had a lot of different tests that we had to run. Just by coincidence, some are every 7, some are 9 years and stuff. The radium-228, the trihalomethanes and stuff. Everything passed really good. So we, had a lot more testing and stuff this year, but the water quality and the stuff, besides being a little hard or whatever, the quality of the stuff we are well pleased with having the way it is. So considerations for next year to be done. I know it looks like it's, pretty extensive. Thanks for the use of with the TIP dollars. A lot of this work, would not be able to get done, just as without raising, rates, tremendously and stuff to getting some of these projects and stuff done. But I'll entertain any questions or anything that you may have.
The shut-offs are, a lot of those people, somebody moving and they shut it off before somebody else moves in. Is the majority of that type, or is this?
No, the majority is just non-payment of, bills,
Okay.
and it's just timed. There's very few, foreclosures, some that we may not get in time and stuff, that might have been on it, but their numbers on those are very few.
And my second question, the new booster station, has that helped